All right. Welcome to the Memberverse podcast, where we interview those who are making an impact on the growth of the fitness industry. I'm your host, Dave Pancham, and the CEO of GoPancham, your fitness marketing agency for freeing up your time and increasing your bottom line. Today's guest is Matt Cherry, someone who has years, if not possibly decades of experience in the fitness industry. He used to be the VP of marketing for Orangetheory Fitness, one of the most successful fitness brands in the world. And now he helps fitness franchisees generate more local prospects through authentic content and organic social media marketing with an interesting approach. Matt, I'd like to thank you for being on the podcast today. If you don't mind, could you tell us a little bit about your origin story, how you got into the fitness industry, and how you got to do what you're doing today, which we're going to be talking a bit more about?
Sure. Thank you, Dave, and thank you for having me. I started off out of university with finance degree. So I was a finance guy in New York City, and I quickly realized my passions were more in sports and in marketing. So I left the finance world and I found my way south to Florida, which is sports heaven. So we love Florida. I started working in marketing by getting into social media, getting into blogging, getting into a different environment that I was used to. And I studied and researched how to make revenues online in the early days, which was more from blogs than it was from pay-per-clicks and social media in different ways. So I actually toured the country and attended 50 women's influencer conferences. And over about 3-4 years, I actually became a speaker on stage, and I was directing people how to use the internet to generate revenues working from home. And fortunately, that was a great experience. I learned a lot. I sat on a few boards of a few major conferences and created a great network that still supports me to this day. With that being said, I chose to bring both passions together, and I looked for a position in the franchise world because I was always interested in finding out how to grow and replicate a model and make it successful over and over again. So I connected with one of the original founders of Orangetheory Fitness and spoke to him and met him in Florida and told him this was my marketing outlook. Social media needs to play a bigger role in helping franchisees in various industries to drive traffic to their local businesses. And very fortunate, very lucky, make luck happen for yourself. We came together and I took a position as VP of marketing at Orangetheory and helped him and his group to capitalize on using social media the best way they could to reach more.
Interesting. And so how did you get into what you're doing now? Because obviously you're no longer at Orangetheory.
Correct. So when you get into a different industry, you start seeing all sorts of new processes, all sorts of new systems. But I found a recurring theme, and that was if it's a fitness franchise, if it's a quick service restaurant franchise, many owners have the same problem, and that is you always have to be selling, you always have to be marketing, you want to keep your funnel full of new leads. So how do you do that? The number one lead in the boutique fitness space and in the larger big box gym space is always going to start with word of mouth from happy members. So that's how we get lots of our leads now, from happy members telling their friends. The second, and it's a very hot commodity, and you have to realize this as an owner, your trainers, your coaches, and your staff are the next closest people to those members. So creating a community, creating a great environment will also help those members go out the door and refer more people inbound to you and the staff and trainers themselves. People fall in love with their trainers, they form great relationships, and they will follow them anywhere. So you want your trainers to be happy, stay at home. Then I started researching what's the third and fourth most effective ways to market. And when you're speaking about franchises, you're constrained to a smaller geographic territory. So you're looking at 3 to 5 miles, and that's very targeted. Back in the day when I started earlier, everybody was still doing direct mail postcards, and QR codes were just coming out as the hot new thing because you want to be able to track. If you're going to do it and you're going to put money behind it, you want to track it. So direct mail postcards, as the postal rates grew, it became inefficient and the most expensive way to market. So TV, radio, those are too big of bites for individual franchisees to take. So I discovered The third most important, and it is where we all spend our time, whether we're professionals of any age, we're on the internet. So most members we surveyed and spoke to would say, before I would purchase a product, purchase a service, I'm going to read reviews. I'm going to go to the website and look at it. In the fitness space specifically, prospects want to know what type of workouts take place in this facility. What does the facility look like? Back in the day, cleanliness was always a high priority for people. But then they also want to know, what is the culture? What is the vibe? What do the members look like that work there? Am I going into a gym to build muscle? Am I going into a gym to improve my high intensity interval training capabilities? Or am I going into a gym to relax and meditate and do a different type of functional training? So it became important, and it became important to my team that we have to reach more people locally, but we have to bring the inside of the gym out to them, to the public, so they can learn everything they can about what type of people will be training me, what will my friends and other teammates and members look like, and what are the workouts like. Is this right for me? They will read Google reviews. They will read reviews on Yelp. They will do the research. They'll do the research 6 to 9 months before they make the final decision to purchase and walk through your front door.
What's your philosophy here on how these two things work together, meaning organic and paid ads?
They work hand in hand. There's something in the franchise space that many franchisees face when they first purchase. They go through induction training. And to this day, I believe parent companies could be more proactive on providing more training, more information, and more marketing foundation blocks for franchisees to help them when the goal is really target a local geographic territory. So many parent companies, the franchisors, will advise franchisees, you need to designate a budget for marketing. You should do paid advertising. Paid advertising on Facebook, Instagram, Google, now TikTok, and a few others, even LinkedIn, depending on your price point, is never going to go away. It's integral, and it's still king of driving the maximum amount of lead capture. And we always need to keep the sales funnel full 365 days a year. So paid plays. I believe in paid. The organic and the authentic often takes a backseat. And when I say backseat, it might take a backseat on a task list that's 20 tasks long in a day and then never happen. So you know as well as I do, we visit people's Facebook pages, we visit people's Instagram pages and for their studios. And we see that if it's not an owner operator that knows a little bit about social media, the responsibilities will be passed on to the staff and trainers. And if they don't do it, or if they don't get paid to do it, it doesn't happen. So there's a big void where if you posted a little bit every day, both posts, Instagram stories, reels, and cross post it to your Facebook and get the word out organically, it feeds the paid pipeline. It gives the paid agencies more targeted local prospects to target ads with. It creates more engagement. And engagement is I'll stop there for 1 second and focus on engagement. It doesn't mean somebody said like or somebody said clapped hands emoji. It means people that are watching videos and participating or asking questions based on what you're providing them. And that turns into a great new lookalike audience where paid agencies like yours could drill down and target ads specifically to that studio's front door.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like I know, especially on the engagement side, I know a lot of prospects, and even we are all prospects for other businesses too. A lot of times we don't engage on somebody else's social media. It's usually their current customers, clients that are, consistently engaging on their social media. But I think one thing that we all do, and I think a good example for myself with this is like trying out a new restaurant. you don't just blindly pick a restaurant. You probably start with reviews, but then you want to go see like, what does it look like? You look at the Google photos, you start looking at their Instagram photos, seeing what people tagged on there to get an understanding of what that experience is before you really go take that step of actually walking in that door. And the same exact thing holds true for the fitness industry. And, we've also seen it ourselves with like good data tracking that a lot of times when we run ads, maybe like 20-30% of people don't actually go click on the ad. They either go Google or they click on the Facebook page, the Instagram page to go see more information about this because it caught their interest, but they're like, what is this all about? And if you have good organic social media going on that tells the right kind of story and gives the person the right picture of everything, they will become a conversion, or at least they'll follow you now for a while and they might convert later down the road. Previously when you and I have spoke, one of the things that I found to be very interesting that you've mentioned is about the distribution of your content, more so who should your content be speaking to on your organic social media? Would you mind just kind of breaking that down? Because when you brought that up to me and I paid attention to it, I was like, everybody seems to be doing the opposite of this.
Sure. And that's a great question. And you've opened up Pandora's box, which is great because when people look at their social media marketing, this is a funny one specifically for the studio fitness industry that I ask people. How many gyms or studios did you belong to over the past 10 years, 5 years, or 3 years, and you're still following their social media profiles and you're still engaging and you're still interested in the content they're putting out? And the answer is typically none. After 2-3 years, why would I keep following a previous fitness studio? That's a very telling answer because it goes to the voice of what you're putting out today. With our service, we talk to owners from large multi-units that own hundreds all the way down to a single individual owner. And we ask, what is your social media for? And typically the answer is, well, we want prospects to see it. And that's great. But if you're first not putting out any content, second, you're putting out content that speaks primarily to your members only. And how does that happen? It's a byproduct of a franchise owner putting the responsibility on their staff, and staff are hired for sales. Staff are hired to help people make their lives better, like being trainers and being healthy, but they're not marketers, and they have a different view of what you're expecting for them to put on social media. So often they will record a short, fun video with no context or text at all, and that speaks to no one. We have clients that often will do 10, 15, 20 Instagram stories a day, and they're 4 and 5 second snippets of their members, which is fantastic. I'm a believer in stories, but they didn't tag anybody. So the story did not spread to more lookalike audiences of those members that they're showing in the videos. So when you ask about the breakdown, that was a long lead up to the answer. We tell our clients, you should be thinking that your outbound messaging through social media is 85% of it speaks to prospects in your local territory and market. The 15%, you always want to focus on showing your members love, celebrating their milestones together, celebrating them publicly to the community to show them you actually care, inspiring prospects who see their story. So never stop treating your members fantastic. But the flip side of that is when people see my video and read our text, because people do still read text on posts, do they understand what we do here? Do they know what type of workout this is? Do they know the benefits of it? Are we sharing something of value that they can connect with emotionally and trigger them to take an action? So yes, we say it very, very clearly. If your social media is for marketing to prospects, then you have to change your ways about how you do it.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense because I look at so many different gyms Instagrams, and a lot of times you come across photos of the schedule, like what the workouts are going to be for the week, or a post-workout photo with everybody that's in the class. And no offense to anybody, but I'm like, but that does nothing for me looking at it as a prospect. If I'm a member of the gym, now I pay attention to that, but that's such a small segment of the market. So how do you split those two things up then? Like, how do you make sure that your members feel love? And then like, how do you suggest they distribute that, the 85-15, but where is that 85? Where is that 15 typically done?
So in our world, when we're dealing with clients of all different sizes, we still find that they're not managing 5, 6, 7 social media profiles. That would be extreme. We have very few gyms, fitness studio owners that are posting to LinkedIn, are posting to Google, are posting to Instagram, Facebook, and all the TikTok and all the others. They want to, everybody wants to. We should use all the free marketing channels we can get our hands on, of course. But when you start looking at small franchise budgets and the teams they have, very few people have a budget line item for a full-time social media marketing person. That's why they hire services like ours. The distribution to me is, don't give up on Facebook. Facebook is still a thing, but there's two ways you have to look at it. You have to create video, and you have to remember you're going to get feedback on your social media from your members. But if you have the mentality, my social media marketing is for revenue generation and lead generation, your members are going to say, wow, we see a lot of marketing going out now. And you hear it instantly with instant feedback. Never ignore it. You want your members to be happy, but they are primarily there for the workouts. And you need to market to always be bringing in new business. So we stick to the 85%. We want you to do videos because everything you took a picture of, you should walk up, grab your phone or your microphone, and talk to your members. The number one largest viewed and post-reach videos we have with our company is live shots of inside of any gym or fitness studio showing real people, and those numbers take off when you start interviewing them or asking Q&As. If you are a prospect, what's better than hearing directly from a member in the gym that looks just like you doing a workout and explaining, here's why I'm here, here's why I love it, here's why it's part of my life now, here's why I love the community, I've made friends, my coaches are great, and here's why I do it. I can't emphasize enough the importance of video, the importance of engaging with your own members, because when prospects see it, one of the first things in their mind is, I'm not getting that at my current workout or my current gym. I want to be in this type of environment. I think it'll support me better. I think it'll help me elevate my game.
Wow. I didn't think about what goes on psychologically there. Are there any other videos that you suggest that, owners should be doing in their gym? I think interviewing members is a great one. I think people kind of do that sometimes, or they post a transformation photo, but I think it's so much more powerful for video for me to hear somebody that I feel like they look like me, or they probably, and hear that story that was just like mine. And it's obviously way more authentic than something that is written out about them. Are there any other kind of like pieces of content that people should be doing?
Absolutely. So we coach our clients to not only highlight the members probably as the most important, because when you speak to them, when you use first names, when you're high-fiving their successes, when you jump on the ground and you motivate and inspire them, that's the magic content that prospects love to see and engage with the most. Part two, staff and owners and trainers have to put the camera on themselves. You've bought a business in a local town, a local geographic area. You want the entire community to recognize you and your staff. You want them to hear the voices of your staff, to be the face of the studio. The reason reality TV has skyrocketed is not because on both YouTube and streaming and on our television sets in our living rooms, is not because a dentist does a great job removing a tooth. It's all of the backstory about the people, the real lives, what's going on with the people's interactions with the members that are there. Most national and international fitness chains, at least once or twice a year, will focus on member stories. I was injured. I was a former college athlete. I got out of working out and now I'm back into it. I've had an unbelievable transformation. Those are the stories that influence prospects. They're not easy to get. You have to get your members to share a bit of their life with you. But the more you talk to your members, the more you are a staff member or a trainer and put the camera on yourself, that's where prospects are going to begin following you. And there's no bigger compliment than our clients could ever get than I walked in today or I signed up online because I've been watching your videos for the past 3 to 4 weeks and I love Kristen. She teaches the morning classes and I have to come in at 5 a.m. I signed up because of what I saw coming out of your studio as authentic content. That's the magic moment for all of us. Highest rated views, close-up interviews with your members, and live classes where you walk through the whole class, cheer on your members, high five them, show interactions, and show people what they're not getting at other facilities.
That's actually there's almost like an interesting inverse effect that happens there, because it may be hard to potentially get a member to do a testimonial. It's not hard though if your trainers are very engaged with everybody that's in the class and have relationships with people in the class. But if your coach is like just typically running the class from the front and just kind of walking around and doing their thing, it's going to be harder. So it's like if they are, it's easy to do that. That means it's almost like if you can get testimonials out of people, that means you're doing your job well as a coach. So it almost forms as a way of accountability with the staff.
I've got good feedback on that comment. It's very difficult to get testimonials, especially when you walk up to someone and say, hey, could you stay after class and give us a testimonial?
Mm-hmm.
You have to rephrase it and you have to approach your members in conversational ways. What about your workout is helping you do things stronger at home? And they will say, oh, well, now I can climb up my third floor unit on the stairs much easier. I don't feel pain anymore. Now I'm throwing my kids around in the air and this is fantastic and I don't feel any back pain. If you rephrase it, you can get little micro testimonials every day of the year, and your prospects are your best promoters ever. It's easy to do. Just don't ask for a testimonial. Ask them questions about their life and how it's better because they're at your gym.
Yeah. Get the right prompting question like that can lead to a great testimonial, because most people, like, they're looking at a gym. It's like, I need to lose weight, but we're not thinking about like, what's the benefit that you are going to have by losing weight and getting stronger. It's like, oh yeah, I can throw my kids around. I can do all these fun things with my life. I have more energy. And hearing somebody talk about because it's not fitness that we're really selling. It's the result of fitness that we're selling.
Correct.
So I'd love to talk a little bit more about your strategy, because I think one of the most impressive things, or the things that always catches my eye, is the volume of posts that you're able to help people do when it comes to social media. Would you mind sharing your philosophy? Because I think when I look at most of our clients, the ones before chatting with you, I thought we had some clients that did really good job with social media. And when I now audit it, and I'm like, oh, it looks like we're probably doing like 20 posts or so a month here. Please share your strategy and thoughts on it.
Sure. At Coposts, we look at it very differently. And part of it is driven by data. And the first part was you asked me earlier, which was how many of us are following our fitness studio social profiles for the daily content? And when you ask the second question, what content is it you like? Most studios are putting out fun short clips of existing members doing a couple seconds or 20, 30 seconds of working out. But there may or may not be a message. There may or may not be any context around it. And then the survey we did said people don't follow once they've left the studio. There's no reason for them to keep looking. They love to see their friends and themselves working out, but we switched the mentality, and that was 85% should be speaking to prospects. If your lifetime membership of a member, let's say it's 9 months to 12 months, you have to remember they may be gone the very next day and never come back to your social profiles again. So who's always there? Overlapping prospects at different parts of the timeline in the sales funnel. It could be the person starting their search today. It could be the person 6 months in and making the final decision today, and everyone in between. So our goal with social media, organic reach, the largest organic reach you can get. And it's a combination of two things: consistent daily content going out at different times of the day, morning, afternoon, and evenings, when people are most available to consume it, and authentic and a mix of brand content. That's part two of it. But consistency is number one. We post 2 to 4, sometimes 5 posts a day, every single day of the year with our clients. And our company name Coposts describes it. It's a collaboration between them and us. They send us the authentic videos of the real people in the studio. We make the post, the video, and the magic content sing for them and speak to prospects, and always carry calls to action. Our content, we also work on behalf of the brand. We want the brand message out consistently, clear, loud, and above the noise. So when we put out 4 posts a day, that translates very quickly in 30 days to 120 Instagram reel videos, Instagram feed posts, and Facebook posts. So it's actually 240 small mini marketing machines targeting the prospects in that 3 to 5 mile radius. And we do that through tagging on the back end, geographic tagging of your studio locations, the hashtags, and authentic content. That's the way we do it. So we often have owners say to us, that's too much, or what's the magic number? To be completely honest, there is no magic number. The magic is consistency. So if you put out 8 posts a month, your reach is going to be negligible. If you put out 240 videos a month, we have clients reaching 40, 50,000 video views per month. And every one of those video views, Dave, you and your company can target for paid advertising. So it does feed paid, but you have to be able to get over the hurdle of, I heard a member tell me there's too much social media coming into the stream now. And you have to, in your mind, you have to say, I'm a business owner. I need to do marketing all year round to prospects. When our members are in-house, we will show them success, attention, love. They will get the class schedules. They will know everything. And it is nice. And I tell our clients, you should use Instagram stories if you really want to shower your members with additional attention and love, because it is a benefit to you as well. If you do tag them, their friends in the local community will see them working out daily as well. And that will get you a little more networking and word of mouth. But there is not a solid answer that says 120 posts a month is too much, because people consume on their phone in a single stream, and those posts go out at 8 a.m., then one goes at noon, then one goes at 2, then one goes at 6 or 8 p.m. at night. That is not overwhelming for most people. Prospects never walk in the door and say, I saw too much of your marketing and it made me have to join you. They will never say that. Too much is not in the prospect vocabulary.
Yeah. Well, and the most important thing here is to be known, right? We want to be known. We want to be top of mind in our market. And the platforms, the algorithms, like, they're smart enough. Like, we don't even have to do anything special. In fact, Matt, I think you checked out our social media, and then quickly after, you were targeted by an ad by us. We didn't do anything special. It knows that you're interested in what we have going on. So when somebody does a great job with organic social media, our advertising naturally picks that right back up. Now with 120 posts, I think you kind of addressed well that it's not too much, right? The name of the game here is being known by our market. But the next piece is like, well, it feels like a lot to do, right? Like, that feels like a lot of work. How is that manageable for like an owner or a team? And, using a service, like, if we want to talk about using a service like yours too, it's like, how, like, because it sounds like a ton of work. How do we fit that in to our day with our weekly schedule? How does that all work?
We cracked the code, Dave. It took a while, but we cracked the code. And I'll describe the before and after of it, because most owners, and still to this day, this is how it works. Typically, a non-owner operator or a big box will say, hey, staff members, hey, trainers, hey, head coaches, studio managers, please capture some videos or some pictures. Everybody upload it into a shared Google folder. And then at some point in time, we're expecting our studio manager, as part of their responsibilities, to go in, find some photos and videos, write a nice short post, and get some up weekly. And that is a process that I faced when I joined Orangetheory back in the day. It still exists today because we can't allow everybody at the company to simply go to our Instagram and post because they might say the wrong thing, post the wrong things. So it does make owners nervous, and everybody shouldn't have instant access to your studio social profiles. We know nightmare stories. People walk out the door and they change the password and it never comes back. So here's how we made it easy, and we made it only take about 3 to 4 minutes of any one of your individual staff members' time. They simply pull out their phone at class anytime during the class, shoot a 30, 40-second video, put their phone away, teach class, focus on your members. Or if you're a salesperson or a sales staff, you can walk through a class and do a 2.5-minute video. That's fantastic. If you have more than one person available, even better. Then you, after your class is over and you have a free moment, you write a very short draft, and we coach and train how to do a perfect post draft. Tell us what we see in the video, and then write a sentence like you were standing next to a prospect in the building with you and say, this is why what you're seeing in front of you is important to you, your health, your fitness journey, and why you should be doing that with us. So a staff member or trainer's time on the task is 3 to 4 minutes. Then it's done, and you and your team never have to worry about it again because they're sending it into our staff. We have copy editors that'll receive it, rewrite, edit, enhance, watch videos, quality assurance, style, hashtags, post it, and post it at times that reach the maximum people. So what used to be very burdensome and take multiple people, and what is a studio manager going to do when they go to a folder with 150 images and say, who is that person? What was their name? What was their milestone? They don't know. So we've eliminated all the time of having to do that in studio by sending it to real life copy editors in the time zones in North America, not to an AI, not to a bot, and not offshoring it. We keep it at home, and it's actually easy. We have professionals that will take the best posts, an okay post, and the worst post, and turn it into a very well-written marketing machine for your studio. So it's actually easier than you think nowadays. The old ways should be gone. Everything should be a video, and we have professional copy editors that turn them out by the thousands weekly.
I love it. I love it. I love your service.
Thank you.
I think your service is awesome, especially I know it's very, very affordable for franchise owners, and I know it's a big missed opportunity. And for our own selfish benefit, we know that when clients do well with organic social media, we see better results for them. And, some of it's a little bit anecdotal, but I can think off the top of my head, we have one client that is fantastic with organic social media. And there was a brief period of time, about a month or so, where her and her team kind of fell off. I don't know exactly what happened. And she spoke to us about it. She's like, yeah, I saw my leads drop down. My revenue, our new revenue generated dropped down because of that. When I got back onto social media, everything picked right back up. So I'm a huge advocate of what you actually have to offer, especially just in this day and age, right? Where attention is lower than ever, right? We're probably less than a goldfish's attention span now, probably a 3-second attention span. And so it's just about constantly being known. And I think this is one of the greatest ways to help a business stay top of mind and, ultimately generate more leads, memberships, bodies in the door, everything around that.
Those are very kind words, and we appreciate it. And yes, there's so much noise, and it's diluting. How many touch points do you need to reach somebody? How many times? And the 1-2 punch is right back at you, Dave, your service, because you're not just a paid agency. And those that don't know of you yet don't realize the clients succeeding with you not only are getting great paid services, but you have a booking concierge service where you will do the calling and follow up on the leads. We love companies like yours because across the expanse of paid agencies, there's very little differentiation. So kudos to you for coming up with the booking concierge concept of, in every other sales industry, speed to contact with the prospects means something, especially industries like real estate, where the science says the first person to contact the prospect gets almost 70 to 80% will get the client long term. Mm-hmm. And we're dealing with thousands of clients, and we're dealing with very volatile, and we're dealing with an industry where there could be 3 other studios going after your same prospects in the same strip plaza where you're located. So what makes the difference? We want you to be visible, as you stated. We want to have you out there so much more than your competitors that whenever something comes top of mind, I want to work out, they're going to think your location. Your service, the minute they decide it's time to commit and give up my data and let someone have my name, my email, my phone number, my credit card for a trial, it is appreciated by the prospect, and especially by the owners that aren't open all day, all evening. And someone wants to join a trial at 8 p.m. at night, and your service is still there to reach out to them by SMS, by phone calls, all within minutes. You're doing something no one else is doing. Lots of different franchisors have tried to do it in-house, and they couldn't figure out the magic. So I'm proud of you, and kudos to you for being able to pull it off, because your clients love it and they can't stop speaking of it.
I appreciate that. And I love what you brought up, the whole speed to lead piece. I love that you brought up that real estate reference, because the leads are kind of shared, right? Like somebody is interested in buying a house or selling a house, and it goes out to a whole bunch of people. Something not too far different potentially happens in fitness too, though, because if you opt in for a free trial at a gym, the first thing that happens as soon as you get back to your newsfeed, you start getting hit with every other local competitor's gym ads. So it's like a prospect could potentially opt into multiple people's ads, and it's still going to be the same situation. Like, who's the first person to give them a great experience here?
Correct. And now if your competitors are bigger than you and they have the budget, they will be geo-targeting your front door. So if someone's driving by in their car, they're going to get pushed an ad for their location and not yours. So it's not a friendly world out there on the internet marketing world, but and as an individual franchise owner, or whether you own 50 locations, it's crazy to me, but this is my space, that people don't see the third piece that's closest to your prospects is actually your social media profiles. After members and word of mouth, and after your trainers and staff and coaches, where else do prospects get information about your location? Because historically speaking, one of the things that doesn't happen is people don't just walk in the front door and say, please tell me all about your fitness center. Because you hear stories from the past of being oversold too much. So they need to know all about it while sitting on their couch at home and having their mobile and their phone in their hand. And so you have to get organic social out. And don't think you won't get noticed. You will. We do have clients. This is not a typical result. There's my disclaimer, that have said we've backed off on other types of marketing because some of the overhead costs on some physical marketing, guerrilla marketing, sponsorships are very expensive, and they've invested more in the organic. And they can't imagine that their videos, they watch a video from today, then they go back and look at it in Meta 3 months later and say, this now has 5,000 views. It's still working for you 3 months later. It's not just like an Instagram story that's gone in 24 hours and might have got 100 views. People will, if your audience doesn't realize it, I'm sure they do, people scroll and they scroll and they scroll. So how fast would somebody be on your Instagram feed and be through your entire year if you only put up 5 to 8 posts a month? And old content isn't everybody's favorite content. You've got to be fresh. You've got to be consistent. You've got to be current. That it does have impact. And feeds your paid. If you're budgeting for paid, you've got to feed it with organic.
Couldn't agree more. Well, Matt, this has been awesome. And for anybody that's kind of interested in what you have going on and might want to chat with you, what's the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Best way to get a hold of us would go to our website, coposts.com, COPOSTS.com, Coposts. We collaborate, we co-work. We're your back office social media content marketing team. So that's how we do it. And like I said, we can't recommend Dave and Pancham marketing enough either. They do it differently. Lots of paid agencies will get complacent, or they might challenge you if you want to change up your ads, or they might actually charge you if you want to change things up. You as an owner know your market better than anybody. So if you're using an agency that's remote or across country and they tell you this is the way to do it because we have past experience, they need to know you know your market better than anybody and be willing to listen, be flexible, adapt, and make changes without blowing your budget. So Dave and his agency does that. Fantastic. If you want to reach out directly to me, you can email me directly, mcherry, Matt Cherry, mcherry@copost.com. I'll take all emails. That'd be great.
I love it. Yeah, I can't. And by the way, I don't make any money off of what Matt does. The only way I make anything here is because if he works with one of our clients, they're going to get better results with us. And that's what I'm excited about, is helping our clients get better results. So if you are a fitness franchise, I suggest no matter what you're doing with social media, I think you should give Matt a shout, because I think it will greatly impact the results that you're having in your market. Because at the end of the day, we run businesses. We need to make some money. Matt, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it very much.